Guys, it's Janet Reclaimed. I thought I would just pop on here and just show you some basic painting. I'm not sure if it's working or not. Oh, there we go. Anyway, I'm just painting a few small pieces for display on the outside of the shop. And I just thought I'd give you the bare bones basics of painting with Annie Sloan paint while I'm doing this. So if you have any questions along the way, let me know. Please get
shout them out.
So I just started by, I just wiped this down with just a little bit of TSP substitute and water. Some pieces I'll just, dust off, but most of the time I just wipe them down to clean them up. And then you want to stir the paint up really, really well. There's a lot of good things that live at the bottom of a can of Annie Sloan paint. You want that all incorporated up into the body of the paint. And I'll just clean off my paint paddle here with my paintbrush so I can use it again and again and again. Set that over here. So just like Annie would tell you, you just paint, just slap it on. You don't need to be reverent. You don't need to be really hard on it. Just be really, really soft. Her brushes are great. They make it really, really easy to just get all of the paint into little grooves and nooks just merely by dusting. I call it dusting the paint in. Nobody likes to dust, right? But painting, it's a lot of fun. So you just slap it on. What is everybody doing today? Are you home? Are you working? Are you home from work? This whole little pandemic thing has definitely gotten a lot of projects done around our house. Granted, I've been here every day painting. I live in Utah, and Utah didn't really lock down, so I did close my shop for a while, but I'm open. So if you are in the southern Utah area and you need paint, come see me. I have everything you need, always fully stocked. So yeah, just slap that on. Now the first coat, you will see a little bit of the surface underneath, and that's okay. Don't worry about that.
Don't mind me.
Don't mind Dave. He's just passing through. So when I do a table like this, I turn it upside down because it makes painting the legs so much easier. This table is really beautiful. I've been wanting to paint it for a while, but you get so caught up with commissions and other projects. So it's been really nice the last couple of days to do some stuff for me. The color that I'm painting with today is duck egg blue. I haven't used this color for quite a while. It's it's blue, so you can't go wrong with blue. Right, Nikki, if you're watching? I can't tell. Nobody's commented. But that's okay. So just slap it on, and on the details, you just wiggle in with your brush very lightly. You don't need to bend your bristles or force anything. If you're light and soft, it gets right in there. The other nice thing about being light and soft with your brushes is it actually minimizes your brush strokes. When you're brushing with the side of the bristle here, bending it back and forth like this, you're using the biggest side of the bristle. These little lashes here at the very top of the brush are a natural split end on the boar's hair bristle. So it actually smooths the paint down for you if you're very, very soft with it. It also helps if you get too much paint in one of these little nooks or crannies, just to lightly dust over with the brush. And the brush will actually draw that extra paint out for you. So it makes it nice and easy, right, Dave?
Cranny.
Nice.
Cranny.
And easy.
She said cranny.
I said cranny. I didn't say crevasse. Yeah, this table needed to be this color. That's gorgeous.
You're welcome.
You can be gorgeous too, Dave. Okay. Dave's over here finishing up some signs for a customer. If you've been in the shop, you've seen the hand-carved signs that Dave makes. They're a lot of fun. We made one. I'll show you one for some friends of ours, the Olson family. So it's carved, so it's kind of in 3D. I don't know if that translates on the video. But it's carved into the wood, so it is very permanent. And we use alder, which is a much nicer wood than just pine. So if you need anything, hit us up. Huh? All right, painting away. So I'm gonna cover each leg all the way around. I don't really move on to the next area until each leg is covered all the way. Because once you've got the paint on, it dries very quickly. So if you get around to another leg and you come by and you see that this leg has something wrong with it, most of the time your inclination is to fix that. The problem is if you touch that very fast drying paint, you might create texture that you don't want. Now you can still fix that. That's one of the many wonderful things about Annie's paint is you can't get it wrong. You just slap it on and let it dry. And a lot of the times that problem that you see while the paint is wet, that problem or that blemish that you think is a blemish, it is, Jen, look what you're doing. That's already dry actually, but it isn't even really a problem. Sometimes it just flattens right out. Is anybody out there? Say hi. There's people watching, but I don't know who they are. Let's see. So just slap it on and work your way around. This table is a round table, so working around is, well, quite literal in this situation. And you don't want to put too much paint on your brush. That's a very common mistake. You can do 2 coats of paint. You're better off doing 2 thin coats rather than a thick coat. You don't need to cover all on 1 coat. And the thinner you put it on, again, not the thinner, I shouldn't say it that way. 2 thin coats will give you a much more smooth finish than a heavy coat. Is the paint's not getting flattened out by your brushes. So you see those brush strokes a lot more. But you can see the coverage even on 1 coat is pretty legit. Now this table will probably get dark wax. There's a lot of detail on this. So that'll be nice once I get that done. And you don't need to be too careful, just get it on there. Typically when I do a leg of a table or a chair, I pretty much just slap the paint on. And then once I get it pretty much covered this way, I'll come around and just touch those details and make sure the paint gets in there. Any questions? Oh, hi Sandy, how are you today? You are very welcome. Anytime you have any questions, please feel free to call me. If you're happy, I'm happy. Anybody that has ever bought paint from me knows that you become a member of my family. I'm always here to make sure that your project is successful. Because nobody wants to mess it up. I think that was probably one of the biggest reasons I didn't paint furniture years ago before I found this paint. With latex and acrylic paints, well, you have to sand and prime. And here in St. George, when it's nice enough to paint outside, it's usually too hot or too cold. Garage is dusty and dirty. I certainly didn't want to sand and prime, and so hearing about Annie Sloan's paint and not having to do that, you know, that was a defining moment for me. So I ran on down to my nearest stockist and bought up a bunch of paint, and I have painted nonstop since then. People ask me all the time. I've been painting for about 7 years with Annie Sloan, and people ask me, don't you get sick of painting furniture? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The scenery is constantly changing. I very rarely paint the same finish twice, unless, a customer sees something in the shop that they want done to their furniture at home. And of course, I'm happy to paint for anybody that needs their furniture painted. You just have to get it to me and I'll paint it for you. But it's very therapeutic. It happens really fast. Of course, if you come in the shop here, you'll probably see me painting 3 or 4 things at once because I can't watch paint dry. I'm just not that patient. I don't think anybody is. Right, Dave?
No.
Don't agree with me too quickly here. Oh, this table's going to be so cool. Okay. So again, the table's upside down just because it's easier for me to paint up this way. Now on the second coat, because I will be painting the top of this table in this duck egg blue, and my canvas bench is really, really rough. So I won't turn it upside down to paint the second coat on it. I'll paint it right side up. But again, just wiggle into little details and then clear them out. And the softer you are, the better. Just slap it on. You'll find other videos on my Facebook page, and I'll continue adding lives and videos with technique. I think the videos I have on there now include clear wax, dark wax, color washing. We'll do some dry brushing on an upcoming video. If there's anything that you want to see, definitely let me know. You can comment here in this thread or you can message me and I can work something out to demonstrate. I hope to be resuming hands-on workshops in June, mid to late June. So I'm going to look at my schedule and kind of figure out the best way to safely continue with the workshops. We want to kind of respect everybody's views on their health. Are any of you, have any of you out there taken a workshop for painting with chalk paint? Can new chalk paint be painted on top of already waxed paint? Yes, as long as it is Annie Sloan paint. The difference between Annie's paint, which is the original chalk paint, and some of the other decorative paints on the market, those paints have latex or acrylic in them, and they won't bond to wax, but Annie's paint will. There have been a few times that I've had a piece of furniture in the shop that was the perfect piece for the customer, but it was the wrong color. So I went ahead and painted it the color they wanted, and I painted right over the wax. I didn't need to remove anything. I didn't need to sand anything. I just painted right over it. And that's kind of a thing, you know, with our decor. Our taste in decor generally kind of changes about every 7 to 10 years. I know 10 years ago, my kitchen was burgundy, the Tuscan style. That was very popular back then. And now I'm cooling everything off. So my cabinets, my lower cabinets are painted in Oxford navy, and I will be painting my uppers in pure white. And the walls were warm. They were kind of a warm taupe, and now they're a warm gray. So it just cooling things down a bit, going from those warm tones. Now, if you've ever been in the shop, you've probably seen pictures of my living room. I'm also a big fan of color. So I have colors like Tilton, which is a bright sunny yellow. You'll see that here in a second. I'm going to do a second coat on that so you can see the difference between a first and a second coat. My dining room chairs are emerald green. I have blues. I gravitate to blue like mad. So I do have a lot of blues in there. So now that that has its first coat on the legs, I'll just tip this up. Now, when you tip it up, you kind of notice spots that you miss just because of your angle. So here you can see I missed a little bit there. I don't have to deal with that right now. I can let the paint dry all the way. And then when I come back and hit it on the same coat, I'll pick that up and it'll be fine. Not only that, but it's kind of in an area that's a recess that I plan to do dark wax in there. So it's really not going to be noticeable if the one coat that's covering it is all that's there. So I'm not going to worry about that. So I'll get around the lip of the table here. Let's see, and we've been on the air, does it tell me? For 15 minutes. Now, if I was just painting and not talking, I probably would actually be done just a little bit quicker. That just shows you how fast and easy this really is. Whew. Try to keep the table on the bench, Jen. Kind of important. Where's everybody from? Are you, where are you watching from today?
Right here behind you, baby.
Thank you, Dave. He's a peach. I don't know what I'd do without him. And the paint dries really fast. This leg's a little bit cold. If you have, oh, and a little bit wet. No big deal. I can fix that. But let's say you've painted a piece and you're not sure when to apply that second coat. The paint takes around 20 to 30 minutes to dry, sometimes a little less, sometimes a little more. It just depends on how thin or thick you put it on, which is another good reason not to paint too thick, because it will take a long time to dry. And I don't know about you, but I am not a patient person. So I don't want to be waiting too long for paint to dry. So I'm going to find one of my drier legs, probably this one, and I'll tip this table a bit so you can see how I do the top. There we go. All right. So when I paint a large flat area like this, I just slap the paint on every which way. A lot of people go all one direction, and when you do that, I don't know if you can see the brush strokes. When you go all one way, you have a set of lines, and the eye is trained to follow that set of lines, and you will see every brush stroke. But when you mix it up every which way, it confuses the eye. It can't follow any one set of lines, and those brush strokes will virtually disappear. Now, when you're 6 inches away from your project, like I am now, so I'm a little bit closer, you can see those brush strokes. But it's not very often that you're that close to your furniture. Generally, we're anywhere from 3 to 6 feet away from our pieces. So, and the faster you paint, the faster those brush strokes are going to lay down. So don't judge your paint while the paint is wet. You need to quickly get the paint on and leave it alone so it has time to flatten a little bit. It's not completely self-leveling because it's a textured paint, which I love. To me, brush strokes are the badge of a hand-painted piece of furniture. You know, up until they developed sprayers, you saw brush strokes on everything. And it's beautiful. I think it's fantastic. Why have I waited so long to paint with this color? I guess with 44 colors on the palette, you can't, you know, paint with all the colors in a day. But just slap it on and be very soft. The lighter the touch, the better. You can see I'm not bending my bristles. I'm not pushing hard. I'm just lightly, and I'm using my whole arm. You don't want to paint with just your wrist because that hurts your wrist. So treat your paintbrush like it is an extension of your arm. And you also, again, you don't need a ton of paint on your brush. That's probably enough right there for me to finish that little spot. I can honestly say I have never painted a table from this angle before. So it'll be interesting to see. It'll probably look really good. There we go. All right. So that easy. 20 minutes with a little bit of chatter, and you've got a coat of paint on your table. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm talking about right there. All right. So,
That's a good question.
next up, one of my favorite colors. This is Tilton. This is one of Annie Sloan's Charleston colors. I love the bright sunny yellow. 2 miles away. Have you been in, Rebecca? Get in here. Get some painting done. So I did a coat of paint on this little piece earlier, and you can probably see it looks very mottled. You can definitely see my brush strokes every which way. And to most people, this is where they get a little bit frightened. Jen, this doesn't look, like a professional paint job. This doesn't look like what you do. But this is just how it starts. You should never judge your paint job until it's finished and waxed. The wax is really what does it. Can you hand me a paintbrush, please, my lovely assistant? Just pick one. I don't care which one. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Annie Sloan's Tilton. So this is a little magazine table, the French provincial style. So it was cream with that gold accent. Yuck. So I'm making it a sunny, bright, fun color. Let's see, I'll just paint right inside there so you can see just how well the paint covers on the second coat. So again, just get it on there. No need to be reverent about it. Just paint. Just like that. And you can see, hi Dave,
Yeah.
it's fully covered. Wiggle into corners and just get it on there.
How are you folks? Good. There's some hand sanitizer in the line right here.
We're looking for some sample sticks to take to our daughter.
Okay, I'm just doing the live right here. How are you?
You remember me?
I do remember you, even with a mask on. Most of my customers are still familiar with even with the masks on that we're wearing.
Oh, okay.
So again, you're just
Dark green, but you don't
painting right over the top of that. And if you make a mistake and dig your fingernail into it, just brush over it. No big deal.
Green. And how about that yellow?
Okay. How
Which
about
yellow?
that yellow?
I'm looking at the
On the
yellow on
left.
the bottom. Do you see any other ones, honey?
This one?
Yeah. Do you
Oh,
see any other colors, honey?
Tilton I have, it just needs to be waxed. This is Tilton on this table right here.
Oh,
It is
yeah.
I like
gorgeous.
Oh, is that the one I have here?
No, you have English yellow. It's a
Okay.
little bit
Oh, I
more
like that.
chartreuse.
All right.
So if you just want to put some wax on that for them, Dave. Just a couple of customers in the shop.
Driving truck today, Dave. Don't tell me you're retired.
Oh, hell, no.
Let's keep it PG-13. We're out live on video on Facebook right here. You don't have to be quiet.
Oh,
It's okay.
No, our grandson's a duck fan, so he wants one of these colors on the bed paint.
Oh, yes.
Nice.
Okay.
So she didn't know where you were. We said, okay, we'll come up here if you're open. We'll get
I
colors.
wasn't sure if you were open.
Oh,
because you don't
I've
have-
been here for
Oh,
paint
that's
the whole
gorgeous.
time.
You don't have the furniture.
Tilton's the
No,
best.
I did
Oh,
lock
I
my
love
doors
that.
for a while,
Amsterdam's
just
really nice,
and just
too.
let people in to buy
My guess are
supplies.
these two.
So, any more questions? Yes.
Okay, no, I'm sure we'll be back.
I painted a pot,
Yeah,
a
you did.
big pot.
I was
Oh,
gonna throw it out,
good.
you wouldn't let me.
Good. Yeah, a lot of people are starting to paint outside.
Pots are painted.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we've got
outside.
a lot of pots painted outside, a park
Yeah.
bench, a table.
I
The
had to-
paint's so good
I had to
outside.
kind of talk her into it.
Yeah, I kept saying, get rid of it, get rid of it. Finally said,
And
I have
then
it.
he painted it, and then
No, he said, I'm gonna paint it. I go,
And
fine.
she has flowers in it.
Yeah, he said, if you
course
don't
you do.
like it, then you can get rid
So
of
if
it. I
it's not good enough for flowers.
Well, and how much would a new pot have cost?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway. it's
Keep
gonna
painting 'em.
He's gonna be the one painting
Yes,
over
I am.
there.
He's quite good at it.
Yeah.
I said to my daughter, he needs to keep busy. She said, oh, I can find the project for him.
You know, I think a lot of husbands, ever since we've been doing the social distancing, are starting to get a little tired of all the
They're ready for
projects.
those projects.
Oh, yeah.
They're ready to go back to work,
I mean, there's only so much yard work you can do, right?
I agree with that completely.
especially when it's 100 degrees outside.
I like to do
But I
that.
have been driving quite a bit.
I like, you, was
Yeah.
this wall that color
We
before?
did really,
Yes, so
really
that's
good.
graphite.
Really good.
Oh, it looks good.
Yeah.
This is gorgeous.
We haven't, but we've been steady.
All right. So, any other questions?
Yeah, somebody wanted to know if you can paint over wax.
Oh, yes, I answered that question.
Oh.
Oh, thanks. I
You bet.
appreciate
You two have a
that.
great day.
Yeah.
You bet.
All right, we'll see you.
All right. So, basically, you're just painting, doing the same thing. But I'm going to show you about the wax as well. I can finish this in a bit. That blue table is drying nicely. So this little guy came to us in pieces, and Dave put it back together. It's amazing some of the furniture that you can save just by gluing it back together and painting it, because it was super ugly. But not anymore. So this is Rodmel. This is a Charleston color. We call our son. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you how to wax it. Now I wax pretty much the same way I paint. So one leg at a time, right? So I'll start up here, and basically you're going to see the color change just a little bit. So you go from that light chalky color to that darker color, and it also adds that sheen. So when you paint with Annie Sloan paint, the paint looks really dull, really lackluster. My goodness. Where'd it go? Shut it. Oh my gosh.
Are you there? Are you there now?
Sorry, guys. It was really slow in the shop, so I figured I'd jump on and paint for you. And then, of course, things start happening. Maybe we'll do this again so we can get some customers in the shop. But you're just lightly brushing that wax on. The wax brush is tapered a little bit, so it's made to get into those recesses. But this is also something you don't want to apply a lot of pressure while doing. I like to refer to applying wax as it's like dealing with a man or a child. You push them too hard, they don't move for you. But when you're soft and gentle,
Go ahead.
you get anything you want. So just be soft and wipe off the excess. You don't need to scrub. You don't need to put body weight into it. Just wipe off that excess. Tee-hee. And that's all you need. It feels so smooth and lovely. So I think, what color wax should I put on this one?
Black.
You think black wax?
Maybe white.
I was going to say white wax would look really awesome. So I've got a little more wax than I want on this leg, but I'm going to go ahead and work it through.
Wax that piece.
Wax that beast. Where have I heard that before? Just slap it on. Nice and soft.
Oh, yeah, people coming. Say hello, everybody.
Say hello, everybody. All right, so once you have put the wax on, I don't know if you can see it, but I've got wax kind of built up in some of the details here. Hi there.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Get some hand
So
sanitizer.
I'm just lightly going to take the bristles of my brush and clear out that excess wax just a little bit.
That's like the next step I'm doing is waxing.
Yeah? I'm doing a live video here on Facebook,
Oh,
so
nice.
you're a part of it. Welcome.
Sorry.
No, don't be sorry.
Watch this. This is what you're gonna be doing.
Okay, so I'll lightly take that excess off, and then I'll just wrap my towel around here and wipe off the excess wax. Just like that. No need to push hard. Just wipe off the extra. Get the foot. So to bring out some of the details, turn it, Jen. There you go. I'll get there eventually.
Turn it, Jen.
I'm going to use some white wax. Give it that soft kind of coastal, beachy kind of a feel. And I keep a little arsenal of these chip brushes.
This is what yours is. This is the graphite.
Okay. They want to call back. You were talking to Zach when the phone rang.
Yes, he wants a Costco list.
Okay. Oh, Costco list. My son's willing to go to Costco for me. That is wonderful. All right. So I'm just going to put a little bit of white wax on my brush. And I'm just going to slap that in that detail, just like this. Just like that. And then I typically fold my towel one more time to do this because I'm switching to a clean spot a little more often. But just go ahead and softly, it's all about the softness, just wipe that back a little bit. And the white wax will stay down in those recesses and bring out that detail. So now down here, we'll bring it in here. There. And just make sure that you're getting it in all of the crevices all the way around. That looks good. This brush might be falling apart a little bit. And then just take your towel just like this and lightly wipe that back. And oh, that's pretty.
Voila.
Good choice, Dave.
Voila.
Anybody have any questions about waxing? Anyone at all?
What black
So-
wax? Like I have the years ago the brown wax.
You haven't used black wax? So it's on the front register. So if you look at the register there, that's black wax on Obasan Blue.
Maybe we'll get that.
It's really pretty. It's kind of a more Victorian, a more industrial.
Yeah, that's what I like. You
Kind
did
of a
that right,
feel.
industrial. That's what I like.
You can also mix the waxes together. So I've mixed the dark wax and the black wax together and got a really cool industrial like.
So you would do it over the clear wax.
Over
No.
the clear wax,
Okay,
yeah.
I'm
There.
like, I
Now
haven't-
that's not a black and white law. You can use dark wax, black wax, white wax straight onto paint depending on the color.
Okay.
Now, me personally, my own personal opinion and what I like, I would probably never do dark wax straight onto white paint or a light color because it would make it look so dingy.
Right.
But like this little desk here, or the card catalog that you saw at the front of the shop,
Like graphite would be
that's
fine.
dark wax over graphite, and it is stunning.
Oh.
Now, even Rod Mel here with the white wax straight onto the paint probably would look pretty stinking
Can we
good.
get another brush?
So that's
That is
it.
our video.
Any questions at all? Well, it is easy, Marie. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. Yeah, you guys need to get in here, take a workshop. Keep it light, keep it soft. Don't push the paint. Don't work hard.
I don't know.
Annie just made it possible to do this without even
Yeah, the
really.
desk on the roller
Without
set,
even-
not the one in
You
front,
don't even have to
or on
think.
top.
I can't tell you how many times I've been in here
Yes.
painting and doing my thing, and somebody comes in the store, and I don't even hear them, see them, anything until
That's just the-
they're right up on top of me, and then they end up
That's
scaring
graphite
me.
and dark wax, yes.
So just get it in there,
Do the dark
wax on,
top of your wax and just
wax off.
top the graphite.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy. just like that. Okay, well, I am going to sign off for now. If you, again, have any questions. Oh, I mistakenly used bare wax on my Annie Sloan paint and gave it a heavy look. Do I have to sand it off and repaint? You know what you could try, Rebecca? You could try some mineral spirits to remove the wax. You will probably still need to do another coat of paint. I don't know what bear's wax. I don't know the content. I'm not trained in that product, so I hate to give advice on that line. But with regard to Annie Sloan, I would simply try and take some of that wax off with mineral spirits, let it dry, repaint it, and then, of course, use the goods. Use the good stuff because it is worth it. A lot of people express concern with the cost. And I would just tell anybody the paint is worth its weight in gold. It does exactly what is represented to do. It's a very high-end paint with a very high-end finish, and it's great every time. I've never had a problem. I've never had a piece of furniture that I felt like I ruined or messed up in any way because the paint's so forgiving. And then I also have pieces in my home that have been painted for 7 years, and they look like the day I painted them. Even my coffee table, we play cards on the coffee table. I am a huge advocate for coasters, but even I slip up sometimes, and it's just so easy to repair. Wax is a very sustainable finish. Now, if you prefer something more hard wearing, Annie's lacquer is really great. I like to use it on floors, but it's great on tables. Okay, well, with that, we're out of here for our live today. Oh, I'm going to take your word for that, Rebecca. I'm not going to worry about buying any of that stuff. I'll do what I know works, and that is Annie Sloan paint. So anyway, have a good day, and we will see you next time.